Good morning. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and rocking with us for another edition of the Morning Breeze, man. Always rocking with you guys, as always, man. Outside of me, I got my guy, Mr. Media himself, Jordan JC, in the building. Breeze Nation, what is good? It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. Hold on, what am I doing? We need some oh yeah, there it is. There it is. We got to set the vibes right. A Friday morning is here. And we still dealing with some technical difficulties with the StreamYard stuff, but we getting it together. So Mr. Meaty will be in a minute here. But on today's show, we got a lot to talk about. An opportunity to trade Khalil Herbert. Missed? Was that the right call? And then the numbers keep going in the favor of Matt Eberflus. We're going to give you some numbers that let you know even more so the Bears may have their right head coach. And finally, we got to talk about this team and the real opportunity they have coming up next week versus the Commanders. An opportunity to stamp your flag in the ground and say they not like us. All that and more today's episode of The Morning Breeze. The date is 10/18/2024. It's 6:42 in the goddamn morning. And I'm absolutely sick of StreamYard 3 days in. But let's go! Yeah. Hey. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love to another edition of the Morning Breeze. It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Hey, need y'all to go ahead and do me a favor real quick and
come on. Push the button. Come on. Push the button. Come on, push the button.
Yeah, come on, push the button.
You heard what she said.
Y'all heard what Sue Young said. Push the goddamn button. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the page. Leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Good morning to everybody in the chat. Shout out to James. I saw this comment before we got live, and I know we're a little bit late today. Again, StreamYard, right? We working through some kinks. We're making a transition here, but we gonna get it right. I promise you by next week we will have this thing moving and humming perfectly. But I love this comment by James. You boys make my drive to LA at 4:30 bearable. That's what we're here for, man. That is why we do this show. That's why we hop on the Morning Breeze. That's why we rock with it. Rock with you guys the way we do, man. My whole thing was I used to be blue collar looking for something to listen to at 6 o'clock. 5 o'clock, at 4 o'clock in the morning, man, as you're driving into a job site. And, the fact that we can be that thing now is really cool for us. Is really, really cool for us. Shout out to the chat. General David Armagist? David Armagist was the first one in here with a, yeah. Appreciate you, David, rocking with us, man. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page. All right, let's talk a little Bears football. The Chicago Bears, per reports, had an opportunity to move on from Khalil Herbert. Now, because of the nature of the running back position right now, I don't know how many opportunities realistically you will have to move on from a running back, even though a good running back in Khalil Herbert, right? So my question to you is, did the Chicago Bears miss a golden opportunity? And I know people are going to jump on the fact that the trade was a division rival, that it was somebody who you would have to see twice a year. Is that a situation that you want to put yourself in? And I do agree with it from that point, right? I do agree with it from that standpoint of, you don't want to make your division rivals better. And Khalil Herbert is a good enough running back that he would absolutely help the running back room over there in Minnesota. I think it actually does make Sam Darnold a little bit better. You'd have to see him 2 times a year. But the question is, do you feel like you were going to get anything of similar value to what was moved for Cam Akers? And do you feel like you can get that from another team? Now, Cam Akers went for conditionally swapping a 2026 6th rounder for a 2026 7th rounder. They had to pay basically to get him. But do you feel like you can move Khalil Herbert to another team? That's the real question. As Jordan tried to figure it, y'all should see the text messages I'm getting over here. Hey, just hop in, dog. Just hop in. Because to me, this is the situation where you're at. Right? This is you're kind of in a position where the Bears want to offload all of these pieces, and you kind of have to. Most teams know that you don't want them, right? Most teams know that you're not going to, as Jordan JC something in the audio only version, apparently.
Yeah, apparently you're only going to hear me. Jesus Christ.
We're figuring things out.
Yeah.
As
Sorry, guys.
you
Good
get
morning.
full stream me and Jordan JC in the background. You full stream me and Jordan JC in the background. That's right. I'm the voice of Mr. Meaty now. They can't stop me.
Oh boy, you got to do the pumps and everything.
Now it's dangerous.
You got to do the pumps.
I don't know about that. I mean, listen, we are at over 100 in the chat.
Come on with it.
You got to do one arm. I got to one arm it.
I'll take it.
Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. What are your thoughts, Jordan? Do you think that do you think he can play the devil on my shoulder?
Yes, man.
Do you think that the Bears missed an opportunity here by moving on from Khalil Herbert, or by not moving on from Khalil Herbert, I should say?
Did they miss an opportunity as far as trading him away when they're needing more teams that were needing running backs? No, and it kind of goes into what we talked about the other day, which makes more sense. The more I think about it, what if one of our backs goes down with an injury? Roshan goes down with an injury because of his playing style. DeAndre Swift is being used more in the pass game. Injuries are part of the season, and so the more we go into the season, one of those guys could and probably will get hurt, maybe dinged up for a little bit, maybe come out the game for a minute. You need somebody that is serviceable enough, that is good enough, that has a good track record of coming in and filling in different spots. And I'm just looking at Khalil Herbert's overall, career. Last year he did pretty good. The yards per average are good. Over 4.5 one year, over 5 the other year in 2022, I believe. And so this is a back who can, obviously do it all. He's a guy that can catch the ball, and I should say do it all. He still has to improve in his blocking game. But Khalil Herbert's a good third option, on a team that has a pretty good and deep running back core.
Yeah, I mean, listen, and I think here's the thing, right? Do you feel like you can get that compensation from somewhere else? I'll say this. I think maybe, right, with Khalil Herbert, and y'all know, I don't think there's going to be a high value on a guy like Khalil Herbert, right? I think that you're getting, a 6th round pick, maybe a conditional 6 that turns into a 5th round pick. But can you catch a team that's a little bit desperate? I think there's a couple of those out there. Can you catch a team that is a little bit, like the Vikings? I'm sorry, not the Vikings, the Cowboys.
Oh, absolutely.
The Cowboys are looking for any answers, and Jerry Jones is falling apart at the seams. Did you see the interview that he did where he's like ripping into the guy from on the radio because he's asking him questions about why his team just got their heads bounced off the canvas multiple times versus the Lions? He's like, well, Jerry, what do you think the problem is? He's like, well, let me tell you something here, Sonny. You don't ask me questions about why to fix this team. Why to fix? Yeah, that's what I said. You don't ask me no questions about why to fix this team. You hear me right now? I'll get somebody else to ask me these questions. It's not your job to ask me questions on why to fix this team. Like, Jerry, like, whose job is it? You're doing a radio interview on why your team sucks, bro. Like,
tell us why to fix it.
you know what I mean? Like, you gotta, it's just, it's, there are teams out there that I think may be desperate. Usually Jerry Jones is involved in desperation. Because he's got to hold this standard. We're America's team. Everybody in America loves us.
They got to get that label.
Nobody hates us. It was like, actually, we all hate you.
I do. Yeah. I think everybody in the world hated when you got that.
No, I actually don't know a person that likes you. Actually, I know one. My boy Beto is a diehard Cowboys fan, but I don't even know if he likes you. I think that he was raised in it, and so he has to stick it out. He's a Cowboys fan and a White Sox fan. He goes through it. Shout out my boy Beto.
Oh boy, my goodness, right for
he
him.
goes through it, man. He's
for him.
He's in a stressed life right now. But maybe you catch a team a little bit desperate. Maybe that to me is your best case scenario on moving on from Khalil Herbert. And you might just be in a spot where that I think there's been a lot of opportunities passed by this season that we may end up looking back on and going, you should have pulled the trigger on that. I don't know if this Khalil Herbert one is that move by not trading him to the Vikings.
I mean, to be honest with you, you still got opportunities out there. We talked about Wyatt Teller the other day. You know, does Wyatt Teller kind of interest you in maybe a trade or swap of, a running back? We know that the Cleveland Browns, they are getting Nick Chubb back, but I mean, he's now a liability when it comes to injury. Jerome Ford, I believe, is in that running back room. Maybe they're interested in somebody like him. They say, ain't no way I'm moving on from Khalil while Velus is still on. Yeah, Velus, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah,
that's a great comment. But I think that's the conversation around like the people you've let pass by. There was what was it? It was a fifth or a fourth on the table for Velus Jones.
You better stop playing with me.
I think it was
I didn't hear that.
I think it was a fifth that they were offering for Velus. That was the rumor around there. That would have been nice.
Well, now that that's gone. That's gone.
That's gone. Yeah, I mean. Like, did you miss your opportunity to move on from a guy like Nate Davis? Did you miss your opportunity to move on from a guy like Khalil Herbert? I understand not helping the divisional rival. I do. You don't want to see this guy twice a year. Plus, you're already dealing with one running back that's in the division.
David Montgomery wants to eat you for
lunch.
I mean? Yeah. Yeah, David Montgomery is a guy who has you on his list already. You don't want two guys that are like, oh, okay, well, you kind of overlooked me and didn't use me anymore. Okay,
yeah.
Well, let's see what happens when we go head to head. But no, I think there's still opportunities there. Even if it isn't in Minnesota, I think there's opportunities there before the deadline where he could be valuable in a package with maybe a later pick to pick up something that you need. As far as like the offensive line or maybe another edge rusher, whatever the case may be, that will help this team out a little bit more because our running back, room is so deep. I did see where Bellissimo said that, he's one hit away, or Rojo, or someone said Rojo is one hit away from injury, and that's what I was talking about.
Every player is.
Yeah, by definition, right? Yeah, but I mean, the way he plays,
like one hit away from injury,
like the way he plays, I guess, is he's more liable to be that one hit away because he's seeking contact. He's a guy that's not afraid of contact. He's not running away from it. He's not like an elusive type of back. He's like, hey, I'm in your face. I'm gonna run you over if I have to. I'm gonna get the challenging yards, the hard yardage, the 1, 2, 3 yards that we need to get the first down, the goal line yard. Like those are the guys that really are the ones that put their head and their body on the line more than like the DeAndre Swifts that are just trying to like, foul and make you miss in the open field. So we'll see. I don't know. Khalil is a guy that here's a guy. He's not a nag. I feel like he's a jag.
He's a jag. And that's what I think. Here's the thing, right? I think people think that I hate Khalil Herbert because I said you can definitely move on from Khalil Herbert. I would have rather you kept Khalil Herbert and not paid DeAndre Swift, but that's not the position that we're in. So now with you paying DeAndre Swift, you have to go out there and hold on to Khalil Herbert or move on from Khalil Herbert because you can't have two of those guys.
Yeah, correct.
You can't have two Khalil Herberts out there doing the same thing. Guess what? The one that doesn't make $8 million is the one you're going to move on from. So you're probably in a situation where you've got a little bit of advantage moving on from Khalil, so that you can because of how his contract is and because of where he is money wise on a team, right? Last year of his contract, but then the team has got to trade for him to pay him.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So it's not a dislike for Khalil Herbert. I'm realistic about how running backs are treated in this NFL, right? Cam Akers went for a 6.
Yeah.
That's a conditional 6 that could become a 5th.
And we see Cam Akers has talent.
Cam Akers is a talented running back.
He can't stay healthy.
He definitely can't stay healthy. And I think maybe you get a little bit more advantage on that. You find me some team that's gullible enough to give me a conditional 5th that turns into a 4th. I'm all in. And I think that may be the Dallas Cowboys, because they suck. They suck so bad. Hey, you don't tell me why we fixed who, what, where, when, and how. You don't tell me how what fix get done.
Oh God!
I don't want to hear you shut your mouth.
Yeah, when you run things back with Ezekiel Elliott 20 years later down the road,
oh my God,
like that's just desperation.
Hey, and by the way, for anybody who wants to know why my standpoint is what my standpoint is, anything the Dallas Cowboys have done over the last 20 years, there you go. Like, Pat, why do you dislike running backs? Because every time Dallas pays one, he ends up sucking 2 years later. Pat, why do you think the offensive line is important? It's the only reason Dallas has been good over the last 20 years. Come on, guys. Like, anything they do, that's the answer. It's just at the end of the day, why you not fix who, what, when, where, Jerry? I think I owned your mother. Wait a minute, Jerry. Oh, flashback, Jerry. Calm down. Calm down, Jerry. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, man. Leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Jordan JC is here in spirit alone. He is the voice from above. What was that?
Oh, Mr. Meaty is upon you.
A meaty ghost is wild. That is so concerning.
Give me your steak. I can just come in somebody's house. Like if I'm in Bearlissimo's home, he doesn't know it. Just Bearlissimo. Give me your steaks.
That's wild, dog.
I know, yeah,
that's actually a little creepy.
That's probably a little crazy. Sorry, Bearlissimo. I just had to use you as an example.
Just a ghost that's eating Bearlissimo's steak. He just sees it disappear one bite at a time.
What in the world? What's going on?
It's like that episode of Tom and Jerry when Jerry got the invisible paint and was just eating all the food. I love it, Buzz. I love that you got that. I love it. Bearlissimo said, if you're in my home, beware of the wife.
Oh, no.
Shout out, Bearlissimo, man. Hey, by the way, it's over 200 in that shit.
Good job. Good job, man. There you go.
Gotta push the buttons, man. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, showing love. Hey, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to hear a word from our sponsors real quick, and then we'll be back because we want to talk about some numbers that yet again further affirm how much Matt Eberflus has actually improved this season, and even starting a little bit last season. I know that this has been a Flus love fest this week. I'm not going to lie. It's more love that I've given to Flus in a while this week. But, I mean, the numbers keep coming out and saying that the Bears might actually have their head coach of the future. And who the heck would have thought that after leaving last season? So, hey, listen, I trashed him a lot last year.
Yeah.
I got to give him praise when it's time to give him praise. We'll talk about that after the break. Yo, what's happening, Bears Nation? It's your boy Pat, the designer from the Windy City Breeze, where we keep it 100 about everything Chicago Bears. Now, if you're like me, you don't just watch the game, you live it, and that's why you need to check out BetDSI. BetDSI is where it's at if you want to put your money where your mouth is. They've been doing it for over 20 years, giving you the best odds, lightning fast payouts, and a platform that's as solid as the best O-line. Whether you're betting on the Bears to take it all the way or making clutch live bets during the game, BetDSI has you covered. And here is the kicker. just because you're rolling with the Windy City Breeze. BetDSI is hooking you up. Sign up today with the promo code WCB, and they'll give you 120% bonus on your first deposit up to $1,000. That's free money, folks, to make sure that you're winning as you back our boys in the blue and orange. So what are you doing? What are you waiting for? Head over to betdsi.eu, use the code WCB, and start turning your Bears passion into serious cash. BetDSI, where real Bears fans get it done. Welcome back. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love, man. It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Mr. Media is here in spirit alone. The ghost of Mr. Media is here.
Hello, everybody.
Just here for this thing. And why do you become a spirit and just start going, ooh? Is it just for the fun of it? Is it just like...
Do you ever watch Svengoolie on The U?
Yeah.
Just random, yeah.
It just becomes Svengoolie? Is that how it is?
Yes. No, you know what voice that is? That's the guy on Saturday Night Live that's presenting all the show, the host of the show.
Oh yeah.
In the beginning, like he says, on the path of designer, Jordan JC.
That's how he does it. He does it in a spirit voice.
I swear to God, that's how he talks all the time.
Oh God, dog. But no, man. Listen, I think that this is a good topic because I mean, listen, Matt Eberflus has done a really good job getting this team together over the last couple of years. And you got to give him credit where credit is due. And I mean, listen, just some numbers to really point out how he has been over the last 12 or so games. I mean, 9-5 over his last 14, 7-2 in his last 5 NFC matchups. He's got a 9-game home winning streak. I mean, that does count London in there. That kind of was a home game.
Yeah. Bears fans came out.
They kept showing the 3 Trevors because that's all they had.
The 3 Trevors.
Remember the 3 Trevors?
I was so sick of that.
They kept showing the 3 Trevors because that's all they had. And of course, we've talked about 12 games in a row of 21 or less points allowed. And if you go back to week 1 of 2023, the Chicago Bears have the most takeaways in the NFL since week 1 of 2023. That's that coming from just another year Chicago. Shout out my boy Nick Rhodey over there. But I thought that was a really good stat to just talk about, really the culture shift. I said shift. That
Spell it.
This team through. It's SHIFT.
Yeah, right. All right.
Just really the culture shift that Flus has put this team through. Because I mean, dog, like if you look at, there's a line of demarcation in the Chicago Bears. And I think most Bears fans feel it. And it's when Montez Sweat shows up. Right? And they had kind of started shifting things before that. But there's a clear line of demarcation between this is who the team was and now this is who the team has become. And when you have those lines, right? Listen, I give credit to Dan Campbell and the Lions. There is a clear line of demarcation on a team like that, right? Excuse me. I give credit to that team up north, the Green Bay Packers, right? There's a clear line of demarcation where you go, oh, Jordan Love might be him. There are those clear moments where you go, this team hit its groove. The Chicago Bears have been in a groove since that Montez Sweat trade. The talent is acquired. And it was almost like Flus did. You ever see that movie from the 80s with Sylvester Stallone where he was the arm wrestling guy?
Oh, Over the Top is one of my favorites.
Over the top.
Oh,
there you go.
Doggone right.
It's almost like Flus is like, we got who? Montez Sweat.
Oh,
how we get him?
Oh, he didn't turn the head around this time. Put those hands over the top.
For the audio listeners, I turned the hat around. That was his signature move in Over the Top. Here we go. Yeah.
He turned into a
like, what, you just rev up the engine? What was that? Why did that work? Over the Top is one of your favorite movies.
Bro, I ain't gonna lie. Over the Top, like low key, is an underrated movie. It's a feel good story about a father and son coming together through arm wrestling and taking down the man.
It's the story of Tyson Bagent.
Yes, it's not actually. Yeah, it probably is the story of Tyson
Bagent
Bagent.
story. Shout out
I
to
don't know if
Bagent.
Tyson Bagent's grandfather was trying to like take him from his dad, but yeah, basically it's the story of Tyson Bagent.
Yeah, it's the story of Tyson Bagent. Shout out to JC Franklin. He said the spirit voice is wild. That's what you hear right
Oh,
before
come on,
high
JC.
cholesterol strikes.
Shout out to JC as always showing love. Appreciate
JC
you, man.
always rocking with us on the super chat, man. Appreciate that, JC. Appreciate that.
Bull Hurley, King Booker World. That's what I'm talking about. He took down the Bull Hurley. Come on, Pat. What are you talking about? Not one of it's one of the greatest movies ever.
I'm a Major League guy.
Oh, whatever.
No, Major League's a great movie. You can't
Actually, Major League is pretty good.
Major League's a great movie. You can't go wrong with a good Major
All
League.
right. Okay.
Over the Top is low key terrible. Said
Jay Crick. Come on. What's up, Jay Crick? Come on, man.
Hey, listen. Most of those movies that were made in the years 1980 to 1989 were terrible. Only to be overdone by movies made in a good chunk of the 1990s. You know what it was? You could just make movies back then. Like Muz was just like, so hold on. What if we take this story of a boy lost in a world, adopted by his aunt and uncle? He finds a wise old man who then puts him on a path of light. It's like, dog, you just gave me the story for Star Wars. And it's like, no.
Yeah, right.
But we call it Space Fight. Like, all right, dog. There was a lot of that going on in the 80s, bro. Like, they were just taking storylines from other movies and just like throwing it into that movie. Because you know what the funny thing about Over the Top is? Over the Top is Rocky with arm wrestling.
You're dang right. That's why everybody loves it.
Arm wrestling.
That's why people love it. Come on, man.
It's literally what if we take this guy, underdog, nobody sees him coming. All of a sudden, he's the champion. It's like,
see, look at the chat. The chat knows exactly. See, now people are coming out with real good movies that were kind of like corny, like Return of the Dragon. Oh yes.
Return of the Dragon.
yes. See, come on, man.
I'm just saying, dog. Like it's funny. I mean, listen, if you're being honest though, Harry Potter is nothing but Star Wars with wands.
See, now you're just trashing Star Wars.
I'm not. First off, never trashing Star Wars. There's no Star Wars trash happening here, my guy.
Okay, all right. I'm just making sure.
Brandon True said they should do Major League 2 with the 2024 White Sox. Major League 2 is already out. It was not good. It was bad.
No, they should do the Billy Bean movie with the White Sox. What he did with the Athletics.
But it doesn't work out. The Billy Bean, but it doesn't work. Moneyball with the White Sox.
Moneyball, there you go. Yeah, Moneyball with the White Sox.
Moneyball with the White Sox. With the White Sox.
Jesus.
Joel in there. That's how they was dropping movie ideas. We opened a microbrewery that serves soft cream ice cream. We call it Microsoft. I think they got that. I think that's out. I think that movie's out already.
That's pretty epic. That's epic. That was a good one.
I think that's already a company, dog.
We done went down a whole path of movies.
Let's get back to the topic at hand here. What are your thoughts on the fact that Matt Eberflus seems like there's a clear line of demarcation in him taking over and turning the cap around, the proverbial cap around.
Oh yeah, the over the top. Well, he clearly has won a few arm wrestling matches in his day because I think that he's figured out the formula to being a mainstay here, to actually keeping his job, and it really goes back to his calling card, like you said, and I've said this before too. When you get better talent, you look better. And so essentially, that makes the head coach look better. I'm sure Matt Eberflus hasn't necessarily done, some sort of magic trick that has allowed him to be this wise old coach all of a sudden. But at the same time, he's always been good at the things that he's been good at, which is defense. Once he got Montez Sweat in the building, this defense is taken off. Then you get a guy that's replaced, Eddie Jackson, even though love his stint here, Kevin Byard. You get an additional defensive lineman that come into the fold. Like there's so many pieces that have been added on here, especially with this year, that has allowed Eberflus to thrive.
Yeah.
And so when you look at these records, when you look at the trajectory going up, the fact that he's had a better record against NFC teams, and by all accounts, not allowing anybody to score over 21 in the last however many games, like that all goes back to, again, him and his calling card. And that's why I think that, the arrow's pointing up for Eberflus overall as a coach. We talked about it before. We both think that he's one of the better defensive minds in the game. And I have to tend to agree
Yeah.
with that, along with Eric Washington. So, you don't let go of a guy like that. And, his resume is continuously getting better and better. It started off bad, but it's looking good for Eberflus.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, you're in a situation now where you stuck it out and it's actually working in your favor. Like, listen, I'm not going. You can't lie. It's on tape, right? I said I would have moved on from Flus immediately if the opportunity was given. I was very big and very ready to move on from Flus, especially with some of the coaching candidates that were out there, right? Like I just was.
What?
I was very. Excuse me.
You said you were very what and very what?
Very big on moving on from Flus.
Oh, okay. Thought you. Okay. Just making sure there wasn't a flag there. You're very big and very ready.
There might have been too much of a pause between big on that one. But
all right. Okay. All right.
I was very, well, listen, shout out to me. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to put the Powers Johnson on the table. Hello. As long as it's not coming up Coleman Shelton.
Boy.
But no, I think that, when you look at kind of where this team has gone and how this team is developed over the last couple of seasons. I love how Joel said, where'd Joel's comment go? He said, I guess not losing coordinators and acquiring talent has helped him. And you almost forget that.
I did forget that, actually. The defensive coordinator.
Right? He loses multiple coordinators. He loses a lot. Like, all these things are happening to him, which at the end of the day, like I said this last season, it falls on him. Like, I'm not sitting here giving you like a sob story because you lost your coordinator because you didn't judge your character well. Like, I'm not sitting here like, oh, it's okay that you hired a dude that was a little bit, different. We'll leave it at that. Because that was a wild situation last year. Yeah, like, you don't get off the hook for hiring the wrong guy. But what I will say is I think that he did a good job bouncing back from that. You saw the effect of being able to the effect of being able to go out and get the independent. What the heck was the name of the guy they brought in last year? Not his name, but like the position they gave him, independent defensive assessor or whatever it was last season. Like, the fact that you went out and got that guy, showing that you had some limitations, trying to do everything at once and saying, nah, we need some help on this. So this is the guy that's going to help us look ahead. I know it was Phil Snow, Chris Racal, but like, what was his name? What was the position he had? That's what I'm trying to remember. I know it was Phil Snow, and I'm trying to remember the position he had. It was a hilarious name. It was like the guy that basically all he did was look ahead at offenses and give Flus a breakdown of them. Right. But understanding your limitation with your coordinator, that's a head coach move. Yeah. That's a smart move. That's a hey, I don't have it. I don't have the ability to cover everything and do that. Yeah. And then coming into this season, hiring a defensive coordinator, hiring one who, listen, Eric Washington is all about this defensive line. Eric Washington loves being with this defensive line. Yes. And you've seen the effect that he has had on this defensive line. That is a win on, on the part of Matt Eberflus, really on the part of Ryan Poles, in my opinion. I think that Poles did a lot of hiring of these coordinators because I haven't seen anybody who I haven't seen anybody who was connected to Flus before hired here. But you got to give credit to him for getting the right guys in the building. And now, having that help, having that opportunity to have other guys in the building who are able to do their jobs really, really well. You see how Flus is able to flourish, and you just got to give him credit for it, man.
I'll be honest with you. I think that's a very good call out because sometimes when you bring your own people in, there's sort of a blind spot there. because you want your guys to kind of get on with you, especially when you become either a first-time head coach or you're going to a new team.
Yeah.
And you kind of want to put your stamp on things. You want to bring your own people in because you're comfortable with that. That's just like a comfort thing for most humans, right? We don't want to be around people that we're not used to, that we don't know what they're thinking. We don't know their scheme. We don't know if we'll be on the same page. But there's actually a positive to that, because you may bring somebody in who isn't on the same page as you, and their page is probably better. They may say, hey, well, this is how we should go about this.
Yeah.
Because what you're doing is not working, and what's going on here is not affecting the culture in a good way. And so maybe you need to go about it this way. And so when you bring in Eric Washington, when you replace, whoever that guy that we won't mention was, like, we've clearly improved. We vastly improved.
Yeah.
When you bring in, even, hey, Shane Waldron from Luke Getsy, at first it looked shaky, but now things are moving in the right direction. Literally, yeah. It's shaky, but now we're we seem to be on solid ground. So that's my
we
thing.
got right.
To
T-wing
be
right.
caught.
Hold on.
Got to make sure you hold it. You need somebody to come over and hold it and help him.
Run the play.
Just run the play. You didn't even call a play. Just run the play. That's probably why Caleb was always moving things around. Just all he hears in the headset is run the play.
All he hears in the headset is just
a lot of flapping and wind. Like, come on, what do we got? Forget it. I'll just call it myself.
Those first few weeks were hilarious, dog. I'm not gonna lie to you. Oh, man. Hey, we're gonna keep this thing moving along. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. It probably sounded weird if you're just listening on the audio. Probably a little weird sound. like if you're not watching it and you're just listening on the podcast, you probably have no idea.
By the way, that was a small flex. I just want to say the fact that he's showing his media pass card.
Oh, was that a
hello? He's the one that gets to ask all the big questions to all the big people. Hey, now.
Hey, Flus, why did you suck?
Well, Pat, screw you. What's up yours?
What's up yours? Whoa, hey, why did you suck? And what's up yours in succession is that's a rough twosome right there. Hey, no, man, let's keep this thing moving along, because I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm trying to show it didn't pick up the sound. All right, cool, that's good. There was like this weird wiggle sound. All right, Joel said it didn't pick up.
You're flapping, yeah.
I'm trying to show the Commanders the respect as a 4-2 team, right?
Absolutely.
I'm trying to not be an overhyped Bears fan. But we just talked about Matt Eberflus, the defensive mind that he is. We just talked about how good Flus is at going out there and diagnosing things. We just talked about how good Eric Washington is, right, at being a part of that situation. And I'm sorry, right? When I see stats that Jaden Daniels is top 5 likely throwing to his first read.
Mm-hmm.
And you see a stat like this one where QBs who are least likely to throw on their first read: Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, Caleb Williams.
Hello.
At 66.2% does not throw to his first read. I start to get a little tingly, JC.
Oh, boy. I'm with you.
I start to get a little excited. And then when I see a passing chart like this, right?
Man,
does anybody notice a theme here?
Check down. Dump
Not
off,
even
dump
check
off,
down.
dump
I mean, listen, I'm fine because Caleb Williams has a lot of check down in his game as well.
It's a lot of green.
But there's a lot of passes to the right.
Oh, that too. Yeah.
There's a lot of passes on that right side. Not to say there's not passes on the left side, but there's a lot of passes on that right side.
Okay. All right. I see where you're going. Yep.
The defensive mind that Matt Eberflus is, I think that he's able to pick up on that. I think that he's going to be able to notice that, to see that. I know he will.
Yeah.
And I just feel like defensively, the Bears are going to have an opportunity to run a little bit of roughshod on Jaden Daniels. Now, my biggest concern in this game is, we haven't done terrible against the run. We haven't done great against the run, right? We've been mediocre against the run. Brian Robinson Jr. could change this whole game.
That's true.
And I think that's the concern that as a Bears fan I have coming into this game. But two things that I take away from those stats that I just laid out. Number one, the Commanders don't have a defense strong that's good enough to stop a quarterback that's not a one-read quarterback. And the Bears have a defense that is good enough to stop a quarterback that is a one-read quarterback. And I know the Commanders fans are going, he's going through his progression. I'm not saying he's doing it every play, but more times than not, he's not going through that progression. By the way, I don't know if we dropped this or not, but over 300 in the chat. Oh no,
yeah.
hold on. I was on the wrong part of the board.
No,
Over 300 in the chat.
Hey.
300. There we go.
I don't know if that sounds weird with just me saying.
It was weirder with both. It was weirder with both of us. It was like a father-son Kamehameha wave. I didn't like it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But no, I feel I'm trying to keep myself contained here, trying to keep the excitement down.
Oh, keep it in, Pat. Come on.
But I mean, listen, you get what you get. But it just feels so much like this Bears team is going to be able to go out there and run roughshod over the Washington Commanders when you see stats like this.
I mean, yeah, there's going to be a lot of different storylines with this game in particular. It's not going to be, big to the overall outcome of the season. But if we're just talking about head-to-head matchups, obviously everybody's looking for what Caleb is going to do versus what Jaden is going to do. That's why this game got flexed, and it's going to be, all eyes, on those two guys. And then, of course, the next level is going to be, Jaden has performed well against certain level of competition, but he did do well against Cleveland, who has a good defense but doesn't have any good offense. So the thing is, how will he play against a really good defense and seemingly what's turning into a decent offense, to a good offense, and then vice versa with Caleb. Will he finally kind of surpass, I should say, Jaden Daniels in the rookie race for Offensive Player of the Year? Because honestly, it's between these two guys. So when you look at stats like, first read versus a guy who goes through his progressions, and you see the footage of him looking 2 to 3 to 4 times before he goes back to the first read, like it's impressive. And again, and I love the way what Joe said, put a spy on him and take away half the field.
Yeah.
Like that will really be the telltale sign as to whether or not Jaden Daniels can improve or evolve from being a first-read quarterback. Because I feel like, and there's nothing wrong with saying this, he's been put in a position to succeed, with the coordinator, with Cliff Kingsbury calling the shots over there and making things easier for him to look successful. That's not saying that Jaden Daniels is not a good quarterback naturally. You know what I'm saying? But when you're comparing the two, Caleb Williams has been put in a position where he just has more command of his offense. He has a little bit more detail to the way he plays the game, in my opinion. And again, the numbers don't lie. You look at those quarterbacks that he's paired with.
Yeah,
that's some high. That's high praise. Those names obviously are some of the best and the best in the game when it comes to quarterback play. So you love to see it, and we'll see what happens when it comes down to winning this game.
I love that Lamar Jackson's in there now, where everybody's
that is
like,
good. Yeah,
I love it. I love it because everybody's just like, Lamar's not a quarterback. He can run. He's a running back. He's a guy. He's gonna take off. He's gonna get out of it. It's like, yes, he's gonna take off, but he's also playing quarterback really well.
Exactly.
And he has been over the last couple of seasons. Now, will he run and fumble that football? 100%. But trust me, my fantasy team knows. For fantasy purposes, can we talk about it as a fantasy order real quick? I'm not thrilled by the fumbles tomorrow.
No, not at all.
But it is nice to have the. I think when you see the numbers on Caleb Williams, that he's already, again, 6 weeks into his career. He's already going through that progression. He's not a one-read quarterback. He's understood. I think that, right? Pat Mahomes said, it took him a while to get to that point where he could consistently be that guy. Josh Allen, we know it took him a while, right?
Yeah.
Josh Allen was, what was he, 2 seasons in? I thought Josh Allen sucked.
You thought he was going to be bad. Yeah.
Bro, I remember Josh Allen, going out there. I remember him blowing, what was that? The playoff game? Was that versus I forget who it was that Bills? Was it Bills Ravens? It might have been Bills Ravens. I don't remember who it was in the AFC, but I just remember Josh Allen. He Will Levis'd it. He literally did a Will Levis. It was at the end of the game. He's trying to run. There's an opportunity to win. And he flips a lateral. And they're in field goal range. I think they were down 3. They could have tied it. He flips a lateral. It gets turned over and it goes the other way.
Yeah.
That. Those guys, it took a little bit of time. Pat Mahomes kind of hit the ground running, but he had the talent to overcome not knowing everything about the game, right? Lamar Jackson was a runner. He was taking off. Justin Herbert really hit the ground running. Justin Herbert's a really good example of a guy who Caleb Williams, who it feels like Caleb Williams may be mimicking in a sense, or following that trajectory, because 6 games in, you're not supposed to be sitting here understanding everything an NFL defense is doing, understanding what you need to do to get the job done, and understanding pocket presence, pocket awareness, understanding when to run, when not to run, how to throw the football, how to make it anticipatory. There's a lot of that there 6 games in.
It's a lot of special
that you shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
And he's doing it on a consistent basis. This is just another stat to me that tells you that even when the game gets tougher, and he may struggle a little bit, but that this young man will adjust and will figure it out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we're going to see more of that, especially with a week off of preparation as well. I think this is going to be the game that's going to set up to showcase, even more so what Caleb is going to be able to do, and also what Jaden is going to be able to do. I do love this comment. Chill Block Trading mentioned that the Commanders coming into the game with a major loss on D and a first-read quarterback that favors Scary Terry sets up well for the Bears. And obviously, we know who probably is going to be on Terry McLaurin. Jalen Johnson, number 1 cornerback versus their number 1 receiver. We already know what Jalen Johnson does to top receivers more times than not. It's getting to the point where it's ridiculous, where his numbers are just all right, you just don't throw to him. And we hear that a lot with top cornerbacks, but it literally is don't throw to his side. Don't throw to him at all. And so if Jaden gets locked into that first read too many times where the pressure is mounting on him because of the pressure that we're getting from the defensive line, and he just has to continue to try to throw the ball away, you might see him get a lot of interceptions this game.
Terry McLaurin has played the Chicago Bears 3 times. His best game was in 2019.
Was that Kirk Cousins?
Kirk Cousins would have been on that team. He was 6 for 8 for 70 yards with 1 touchdown. He played the Bears in 2022. We all remember that game. I believe the Commanders did win that game. I think I was left screaming, "Cut him." Quite loudly. But in that game, Terry McLaurin was 3 for 4 for 41 yards, no touchdowns. The last time the Bears played him in 2023, Terry McLaurin was 4 for 5 for 49 yards, no touchdowns. Now, quarterback play was very different. You didn't have somebody who felt like Jaden Daniels has felt, right? Jaden Daniels feels like he's got some answers on this team, but I say all that to say Terry McLaurin versus Jalen Johnson. I don't know if 2019 was against Jalen Johnson. Maybe that would have been Jalen's rookie year, right?
2020, 21, 22, 23. I feel like Jalen's only been in the league 4 years, 3 or 4 years. So that might have been right before him.
So that would that have been a what was old boy? Would that have been a Kyle Fuller? Was that a Kyle Fuller?
Kyle Fuller was here. Was that his last year?
Well, Kyle Fuller definitely was here in 19 because he was here in 18.
Yeah.
Jalen Johnson's first season was 2020. So every time Jalen has played him, he has not played well.
Yeah, there you go.
So the Bears have advantage Jalen Johnson. And I'll be honest with you. Listen, when your first option is Terry McLaurin, I like the fact that he force feeds it to him.
Yeah,
I understand being a one-read quarterback in the sense where, hey, who's your number 1? Terry McLaurin. Okay, let me throw this thing down there to him.
Yeah.
But it does make it difficult in the sense where when you're always locked in on Scary Terry, that's going to make things a little bit easier to scheme up. Now, he has gotten away from a little bit more these last couple of games. It's only 7 targets, 8 targets last couple games. The highest has been 10 against Arizona, 10 targets, 7 receptions, 52 yards. But he got a lot of guys involved in that game as well as they drubbed him 42-14, right? So I think that, but it's just Terry McLaurin is your backbreaker. He's the guy that can kill you the most, and I just don't think that that's going to be an issue coming into this game. I think it's going to make things a lot more difficult on Jaden, and I think the Bears are going to have that right side. We see what you're doing over there. You're not going to – I guarantee you he does not live well on that right side. Now, I caveat all this by saying we'll see how healthy this Bears team is, right? If you don't have Tyreek Stevenson out there, if you don't have Jaquan Brisker out there, if you don't have Kyler Gordon out there, that changes things up dramatically. But you still got good play out of Josh Blackwell. You still got good play out of Elijah Hicks. You still, of course, get good play out of oh, dang it, Pat. Thing with Jonathan Owens. I want to give him his own name.
Absolutely.
Don't want to call him. Don't want to just call him
Simone
Simone
Bowles'
Bowles' husband. It's so bad that it's the first thing that pops up in my brain. I'm like, he's his own man. He made the NFL. He's doing all right. His wife's one of the greatest athletes of all time. Like, it's a tough household to be in. Like, even if he has a great career.
Yeah, it's like you're still overshadowed by an Olympian, by the way.
Yeah, an Olympian,
one of the greatest
also,
Olympians of all time.
Shout out to him. Never mind.
Oh boy. But you know what? I think on the other side of the ball, this is another advantage. You know, we're talking about the reads again with Caleb having the wealth of the abundance of riches with the receivers, and now he's getting acclimated. We've seen him, connect now in multiple games with all of his receivers. We've seen him now connect with Cole Kmet numerous times in different games where Cole has gotten off. We've seen the Keenan Allen game now. We've seen the DJ Moore game. And that was actually one thing I wanted to point out is you've seen multiple times in evidence of Caleb just manipulating the defense. The DJ Moore game versus the Panthers versus his old team, when he threw that, I believe the second touchdown to him, that was the first or the second, but either way, he manipulated the DB that was playing up top, or the safety, I should say, to go to the right, because he had his whole body facing the right side as if he was going to throw to him, then immediately switched to the left and threw it to DJ Moore, who had all the space in the world to go up the middle into the end zone, because he didn't have that double coverage because of the manipulation of Caleb, looking off the defense.
Right.
That's top tier right there. And those are things that I think you can kind of see are going to probably happen in this game, because, you look at the roster, St. Juice, you got Emmanuel Forbes, you got Jeremy Chin, decent names, but I mean, this is not a lineup. This is not a backfield as far as cornerbacks and safeties are concerned that are going to shut you down. And so when you have weapons all over the field, that's something that they're going to have to try to stop, and it's going to be difficult for them with the way that Caleb plays.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, man. It's going to be a tough matchup for the Commanders in my mind. I'm trying to keep myself like a little bit contained, but I really think that this might get ugly.
I should put my victory glasses on right now, actually, even though you don't see me.
Nobody
the ghost of the victory glasses.
The ghost of the victory glasses. Victory.
We're getting a dub. I'm telling you.
Hey, man, we going to get up out of here. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. For the ghost of Mr. Media himself, Jordan JC.
Shout out everybody in the chat.
It's your boy Pat the Designer, back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there in Chicago. Bear down. One love. Peace.
Now, what were you saying about Simone Bowles and Jonathan Owens?
Calm down now.
I'm asking you. You're the one who need to calm down.
But for research purposes, can we talk about research?
Are we talking research?
Silver Harvest said just tuned in and saw only Pat, but hearing JC too. Was Pat talking to the voice in his head? If JC's the
I'm
voice in my
everywhere.
head, we got problems.
I'm everywhere. He can't escape me.
That was creepy.